Clarence Aaron Robbins was an American horror and mystery writer writing as Todd Robbins. Born in Brooklyn in 1888, the son of Clarence H. Robbins and Mary Eloise Robbins, and was educated at the Washington and Lee University. In 1909, he eloped with Edith Norman Hyde, who would be the first Miss America in 1919, 5 years after their divorce. In 1914, he married Lillian Ames Chapman, but this did not last either, and in the 1920s, he married Ethel Brown and moved to France. In 1933, he married again to British tennis player Nellie Adamson, the pair at one point playing doubles with King Gustav V of Sweden. During World War II, Robbins was held in an internment camp in France, following the German invasion. He died in 1949 in Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat. His first novel was the 1912 Mysterious Martin, of a man whose descriptions of murders compel others to commit violent crimes. In 1917, he published a day's subject, The Unholy Three. It was adapted into a film twice, in 1925 and 1930, both versions starring Lon Chaney, the latter being his last role. The novel begins at a circus showing the chagrin and hatred of Tweedledlee, billed as the dwarf king of pygmies caught in Africa, when really he is just a very angry, bitter little man. No matter what he does, everyone laughs at him and doesn't take him seriously. He hates people and children most of all, since unlike him, they will grow up. One day he cannot handle it anymore and attacks a child, and this starts a brawl where Tweedledee is aided by his only friend, the giant strongman Hercules, who proceeds to cause untold devastation before he is pinned down. Tweedledee convinces Hercules and the ventriloquist Echo to run away together, but not before avenging themselves gaudily on one of Tweedledee's greatest enemies in the circus, Tweedledee being the brain to Echo's voice, since Echo no longer has the wooden doll he says stole his own brain. At this point, however, the novel stops focusing on the three very much. Instead, we shift to a more typical novelistic setting, with focus on Hector MacDonald, a young man turned out by his uncle for refusing to work at an office and wanting to write for a living instead. He is also engaged to Dorothy Arlington, the daughter of the man he was supposed to work for, who is also a great wicked old bully, even to his own family. Hector moves to a dingy apartment and starts submitting his stuff to print, confident he will make a success, but he's rejected over and over, sinking into abject poverty, having to pawn even his clothes to be able to eat. All this time he visits a nearby bird shop, where the giant cousin Harry, helping the old woman, who really is Echo disguised as an old woman, is really Hercules, and the baby in the carriage, the old lady's nephew, is Tweedledee. And this is all obvious to the reader. Here the parrots sold to wealthy patrons are used to allow Tweedledee to rob them. Tweedledee at one point even being sent to the Arlington house as a baby to steal some jewelry and nearly killing a child. If this were not bad enough, Tweedledee is working to frame Hector for murder, in revenge for having ruffled his hair when Tweedledee was pretending to be a baby. Hector had in fact said he wants nothing more than to be arrested for a violent crime, and then exonerate himself in a highly public trial to make himself famous and sell his stuff to the magazines easier. Of course, he doesn't realize we sometimes do get what we ask for.